Hi, I am Hazel Ontolan. Our topic for today is all about gender and school. As one of the most fundamental aspects of self, gender impacts everybody. All of us can point to a time in our lives when we were burdened by unfair limitations or expectations because of others' beliefs about our gender. Regardless of students' age, gender impacts a child's experience at school across the grades. As a primary socializing agent, schools have a tremendous opportunity and responsibility to be inclusive of all students, regardless of their gender, identity, or expression. School is the place where our children will be exploring ideas and discovering new skills. It is inexcusable that any child might be prevented from pursuing their passions simply based on others' perceptions of their gender. Gender bias. Gender bias is a preference or prejudice toward one gender over the other. Bias can be conscious or unconscious and may manifest in many ways, both subtle and obvious. It is the unequal treatment in employment opportunities such as promotion, pay, benefits, and privileges and expectations due to attitudes based on the sex of an employee or group of employees. Gender bias can be subtle or overt and can result in small large consequences. Most countries have laws eliminating gender bias in workplaces. Gender bias can be a legitimate basis for a lawsuit under anti-discrimination statutes. Gender bias is behavior that shows favoritism toward one gender over another. Most often, gender bias is the act of favoring men and or boys over women and or girls. Gender bias occurs when people make assumptions regarding behaviors, abilities, or preference of others based upon their gender. Because there are strong gender roles, stereotypes for masculinity and femininity, students who do not match them can encounter problems with teachers and with their peers. We cannot escape the reality that there are other people better than us. So because of gender bias, some people treating us unfairly. For example, if we apply a job. Gender bias in school enrollments. Discrimination based on gender is one of the primary impediments to education, and it affects boys and girls. In some regions, boys' educational opportunities are limited by gender roles that force them to work rather than attend school. These financial responsibilities are often increased in boys' adolescent years, making it difficult for them to complete secondary school in some regions. However, in many parts of the world, girls are most often the victims of gender discrimination as they pursue an education. Education is the only key to bring gender equality. Increase in literacy rate should bring equality based on gender, but in society, gender equality is not yet achieved up to expected level. Because the roles of gender are taken from the society that plays a root cause or inequality, though women are educated. While the past few decades have seen an improvement in the treatment of females in classroom methods and curricular materials, it would be premature to declare victory and dismiss issues of gender bias. Today, our girls and boys remain the victims of gender stereotypes in text and resource materials. They are also victims of unintended or sexist behaviors by educators. Often, teachers reflect varied expectations for children based on the student's gender, class, race, and ethnicity. Most teachers care deeply about the youngsters in the rooms. They are confident that they treat all their students the same. However, many teachers who analyze their own attitudes and behaviors discover the subtle and pervasive nature of gender inequity in the classroom.
Good day, everyone. I am Kuoipu Kyla Patarlas, BS Criminology 2B Group 2. My topic is all about gender bias in dropout, gender bias in household, and social attitude towards girls' education. First, let's talk about gender bias in dropout. Gender bias in dropout. There is a gap in enrollment in schools of girl students when compared to boys. The social barriers standing in the way of girls attending schools, the conception or misconception that girls do not need education and or that what is taught in schools is irrelevant to them. Gender bias in dropout. The social barriers standing in the way of girls attending schools. First, poverty. Second, misconceptions. Third, limited benefits in educating girls. Fourth, lack of women teachers. 5. Supportive facilities. Next, let's talk about gender bias in household. Gender bias in household, the gender discrimination in schools is an extension of what we think in the family, in the society, and in the community in which we live. Male and female are two things of the society. Development of the society is not possible without balance between them. Most of parents do not give equal opportunities to their female child. Therefore, there is a reason behind intra-household gender discrimination. The reasons is purely selfishness of the parents. Gender bias in household responsibilities. Boys are more likely than girls to have maintenance chores like mowing the lawn or painting, while girls are given domestic chores like cooking and cleaning. Next, let's talk about social attitude towards girls' education. Social attitude, social attitude towards girls' education, the social barriers and social attitudes standing in the way of girls attending schools, poverty, compulsions of older girls in the families having to look after the home and siblings. Girls have to stay at home once they attain puberty and must be protected till they are married.